There we go. Here it comes.
Okay. It's not coming up on my YouTube. There it is.
All right.
Got it.
There we go. Here it comes. No.
It's not coming up on my YouTube.
Here we go. All right, I think I've got my reverb echo turned off. We'll see here in a minute.
And Stacy's there. Hi,
Yes,
Stacy.
hi, Stacy. Hello. Hello to all the folks that were good trouble hair, holding it down in the evening, working, making people beautiful. So my name is Joelle, and I am the Viberarian, and I am here with my friend Alka, the shaman in the city. And we are going to be having a conversation that I'm sure is going to be elevating, enlightening, and empowering. Those are the three things that I love to do here in this space. And this is actually our second year having this conversation, so I'm super excited. So everyone, let me just say Alka is a fount of information and brings like a very experiential perspective to the conversation tonight. And that's one of the things that I appreciate about you, and the fact that you're well-traveled and well-versed in lots of cultures and bring a lot of information to the table. So Alka, welcome this evening to the conversation.
Joelle, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure always being here with you. Our conversations are always so wonderfully enlightening and fun. We do get in a couple of laughs, so I love that as well. Thank you for your very kind and generous introduction too. Very grateful to be here. So grateful to share information, what I've learned through my travels. It's just so exciting. And thank you for allowing me this platform to do that. I'm really grateful.
It just works out perfectly like that, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
What we are talking about, we're going to just give a basic primer, if you would, about we've already had our Americentric New Year with the December 31st to January 1st kind of celebratory energy, but this is something different. So can you just give us a little primer about what is this whole Lunar New Year business?
Absolutely. So Lunar New Year, Luna being the moon. So in Asia, and it's not just a Chinese culture, right? It's a Vietnamese culture. It's the Thai culture. It's several cultures that celebrate the phases of the moon and celebrate the passing of 12 moons into the 13th new moon, which is then the Lunar New Year. The new year according to the passing of the moons. So it's not a specific date in the calendar like the Gregorian calendar, the Western calendar, which says 31st of December, 2022 is New Year's Eve, and you go into the first of the year, which is the new year, which is a brand new calendar year. This is you go into a brand new moon phase. So it's a new moon, and on the day before, so the New Year's Eve, everyone, families and friends get together and have what they call a reunion dinner. So they have a big dinner for the family to get together to say goodbye to the previous year. And on the new moon, the next day, which then welcomes in that new zodiac animal for the year, which is going to be the year of the bunny, the year of the water rabbit for this year. So that's Saturday going into Sunday. So Saturday's New Year's Eve, and then Sunday is the first day of the water rabbit.
Okay, so I'm assuming that you're having then your reunion dinner
on Saturday night. Yeah, we are. We're celebrating with Mark and his family this year. So it's just going to be a small family dinner. So it's going to be, just a simple dinner. And then I like to stay up because I like to feel in the energy of what it's like to say goodbye, the passing on of, 1 year, and one animal, the tiger. As all of you've experienced last year, the year of the water tiger, that brought on a lot of emotions, a lot of torrential emotions, a lot of action. I think this time last year when we were having the conversation, we spoke about being prepared for a year of action. Boy, was it a year of action.
Yes.
Stuff was happening in people's lives and things were turning over. But in a lot of aspects, a lot of us have asked for the change, right? A lot of us have asked for the action. So Tiger just brought on that action year and made those changes. And now we're going into, again, still a water year, but the year of the rabbit, which is calmer. Because if you notice, bunnies and rabbits tend to do things, they're quick, but they tend to do things in a calmer way. Even when they're, twitching their nose and trying to smell a predator, or trying to smell for food, or trying to smell for anything, they're doing it in a very calm, patient way. So it's definitely a year about a lot calmer of a year. Definitely a year about patience. Definitely a year for introspection. Because again, the rabbit does things on its own. It's quite happy being on its own. It's quite happy, looking for food on its own. Yes, it's fertile. We all know, rabbits being fertile. So it's a year of fertility in terms of creativity, in terms of ideas, in terms of germinating a new thought pattern, a new career even. A great year to start a new career. So the rabbit's going to be a lot calmer than last year. It's still going to be an emotional year. So it's, taking care of yourself, taking care of your emotions, being aware of your emotions. That's a very, very important aspect of this year. And the other very important aspect of this year is the introspection. It's about self-education. It's about self-knowledge. It's about gaining knowledge and information. I'm going to stop there because I kind of threw a lot at you.
I'm just contemplating against the life experience that I had last year. And I see Stacy saying, boy, was it like, I could not have predicted at the beginning of the year that I would have the experiences that I had throughout the year. Because to me, it was just kind of very, you better go with the flow because it's going. And it was a lot going on. But passionate, definitely kind of like some strong things, but it was also a period of almost like crouching tiger. And as the year ended, then it's like almost now it's like all that energy is now moving forward and not an ejecting, but just like a launch, like a smooth, continuous kind of now we're putting it on autopilot and we're going where we directed our arrow to go. And I've had several client conversations in just the last couple of days where the people have said, I just really have been into myself so far this year. I just haven't really felt like doing anything with other people. I've just been in time just with me, meditating. I haven't been really out very much. I've been getting a lot of sleep. I haven't felt very social. Like I've heard these things just in the last couple of days.
Yeah, actually your crouching tiger analogy is perfect, Joelle, because what's happened is we look at the tiger. So we look at last year, the tiger is walking, right? The tiger's been hunting, the tiger's been to action. In the latter part of the year, it did start its crouching down, and it's almost crouching. We say crouching and then it's getting ready to attack. I feel that the crouching is getting ready to kind of pass the mantle onto the rabbit and say, here you go. So this month, we felt the effects of the crouching tiger. The tiger's still there. So mentally, we're all into, I have to do this. I have to do this. I have a to-do list. I have a to-do list. And that's that remnants of that tiger action energy. But as tiger passes it on to bunny, after, I keep saying bunny, after this weekend, you will notice that there's a lot more patience. There's a lot more in the wanting to be quiet, a lot more introspection, a lot more listening to, people are going to listen to more podcasts, listen to more talks, listen to more YouTube, videos. listening to wisdom,
Mm.
taking that in and assimilating it to where they are in their life, what they need to do and how they need to proceed. This is kind of going to be the theme for the year. Taking in that knowledge, processing that knowledge, and then using it. And that's going to be the theme for globally for everything, right? You're going to find countries doing that. You're going to find people doing that. You're going to find, a lot of knowledge being thrown at us, various different avenues, angles, social media. But it's going to be let's take it in, let's assimilate with it, and then let's move, as opposed to, oh, wow, let's react. It's not going to be a very reactionary year. Last year was a very reactionary year.
Oh, okay. I could definitely see the reactionary. I'm sure everyone will be as relieved as I am to not have to necessarily navigate reactionary dynamics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's tiring. It's tiring. I mean, I'm not surprised that the vast majority of us are exhausted from last year. It's exhausting trying to navigate, reactionary behavior, anything reactionary, right? Or defensiveness in any way. It's very, very hard to navigate that. And it takes a lot out of us, especially empaths. I would hedge a bet that every empath we know, including us, had several, mini meltdowns, just wanting peace and quiet, wanting to run away from it all, because it's sensory overload,
Right.
for us. Yeah.
Right. Hello to Shannon, who's joined in the chat room.
Hi,
Heaven to
Shannon.
Earth. And she said she heard Eye of the Tiger today.
Iconic song, iconic.
Yeah. Part of when we look at even this last year, it was marked by market volatility, right? The things that affect your root chakra, such as how can I get to work? Can I fill up my car with gas? Am I getting laid off? The inflation prices are reacting to this, which is reacting to supply chain, which is reacting to war. So it was all year kind of trying to, forces greater than us.
Yes.
On the massive stage that we then had to get dragged along behind. Are you saying that kind of energy will be less this year?
So there's still going to be that energy, because it's also that information piece I was talking about, right? So information is going to just come at us. The difference, Joelle, is going to be how we react to that. So as a rabbit's reaction is a slower pace reaction. It's not a charge reaction, right? It's not, I'm looking for my prey and I have to charge to get what I want. It's going to be let's sniff around and let's get in touch with our intuition. The rabbits are associated with intuition. The rabbits are associated with the moon, and I don't know if you know, because there's several myths. One is there's a Native American myth. There's a Latin American myth. There's even a Chinese myth about the image on the moon is not of a man, it's of a rabbit.
Okay.
And so the association of rabbit with keeping in touch with, again, the inner aspect of you, the intuition. So someone's going to cry wolf and say, the market's down, we're going into a recession, and you're going to have to go, okay, how do I react to that? That's very, very important. How do I react to that? But it's also, so going back to your original question, it's going to be slower. It's not going to be, information overload at the speed that it was and at just that aggressiveness that it was.
Okay.
It's going to be a lot quieter. It's going to be a lot slower.
What about, rabbits can sometimes be seen as fearful? Is there going to be an awareness of needing to be mindful of being susceptible to fear?
Well, rabbits, you're talking about the skittish nature of rabbits,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, don't come
be.
near me, I'm gonna run away. It's again that cautionary, be cautious, right? Don't make silly decisions, be practical and be cautious as well. But I think the word here is caution. Heed and take caution. but not at the level of, if you are going to take a risk, think about it. Be practical and pragmatic about it.
Okay. And go within.
Yeah, go within.
Instead
Go
of
within.
looking around out there to see, trust this.
Yeah, go within, because you can look outside at anything. No two people have the same story. No two people have the same circumstance. So you can look and compare yourself to your neighbors, your friends, and anyone else, but no one has the same story as you. So it's so important to trust that inner self. And even more so this year, Joelle, because let's go a little bit, horizontally, numerology. We're in a number 7 year. And a number 7, it's a year about spirituality. It's a year about going in. It's a year about that inward journey. Yeah.
I keep 7s everywhere.
Everywhere. So if you think about it, it's not just the energy of the rabbit, it's the energy of that number 7 as well.
Okay. So more about the 7. So what were the hallmarks of the 6th year then that we are just coming out of?
The 6th year, now depending on which school of thought when you're talking about numerology, because there are several, the 6th year is about community. The 6th year was about building. The 6th year was about bringing people together, right? The 7th year is about now that you've brought all these people together and communities have been built or communities have been broken up because they were not the right communities to start with. Then what does that look like? 7 looks like an introspection year. Mm-hmm. So if your world was broken apart in a 6th year, the 7th year is that let's put it back together, back by myself, introspect, taking in all knowledge and information. Again, very, very similar to the rabbit, taking in the information, mm-hmm. sniffing about, and then using that information. So the 7-year theme is almost identical to the theme of the year of the rabbit.
Okay. Funny how that lines up like that.
I know, right?
So as the year last year you talked about some of the traditions in terms of what mandarin oranges.
Yes.
The
gold.
envelope.
The red.
Mm-hmm. So would you share those again?
Absolutely. So where I grew up, which is Singapore, it's a multicultural country, so we celebrated everything, right? And for Chinese New Year, when we were invited to a neighbor's house, a friend's house, one thing you do take is when you go and visit, you take 2 oranges. Oranges represent gold and even numbers. So when you enter the house, you always offer these oranges and say, I come to your house bringing gold, bringing luck to your house. May you be prosperous, right? Prosperity is a huge theme. Good health is a huge theme. Success is a huge theme for the Lunar New Year. And the red packets are what we call ang pao or hong bao. Depends on which part of China you come from and what dialect you speak. Ang pao is Mandarin, hong bao is Cantonese. And so only if you are married and an older, do you put money in these envelopes and give money to children or those who are younger than you. Kind of like, I think in Hanukkah with the Jewish, they have gelt, they call it. Mm-hmm. And some Indian culture as well. They give an envelope and they give money. So there's several cultures in Asia that give money to, during the festive season. So so children really look forward to their own ang bao. And, you can see at the end of the day, counting their money, gambling, huge theme, they play whatever game, mahjong, poker, bridge, rummy, whatever, 21, whatever game. And so you'll hear, mahjong tiles in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. And they celebrate this for 15 days. Okay. And at the end of this, there's a day that's called everybody's birthday. So everyone kind of celebrates that day as, a happy day. It's the New Year's arrived and the New Year's providing us full of prosperity, great health, and let's get on with our lives, and let's get on with the new year.
And I think we were discussing how everybody goes to observe. Like it's not like the country shuts down. Like most everything is like, that's it.
2 days.
We're all going to celebrate.
Yeah, in China and Vietnam, and some other places, everything shuts down for a week. In Singapore, everything shuts down for 2 days. First day of New Year and second day. I think this year they have 2 additional days because it falls on the first day falls on a Sunday. So I think they have, obviously Sunday is a holiday. So I think they have Monday and Tuesday, if I'm not wrong. So they kind of have a 4-day weekend, which is great. So Saturday, everyone meets to have the big family reunion dinner. And then Sunday is the first day. And traditionally, you're supposed to wear red, but the generations have changed, right? The younger generations, a lot of people don't prefer reds. I remember growing up and some of my friends going, I'm going to wear black. I don't care what my grandmother thinks. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, I think what stems is really important is the togetherness. It's the family. Day 1, day 2 are about family. And then preceding that, the days are about, okay, friends visiting with friends. We had a tradition that, we'd go and have something called hot pot, which is, everyone knows what hot pot is. We call it steamboat, but we used to do that or go for dim sum, for tea with each other, but always a time where we made it a point to get together over a meal. And the amount of food brings people together.
Yes, for sure. There's fireworks, right, and parades as well.
There'll be a Chinese New Year parade, what we call the Chingay parade in Singapore. Parades all over. There'd be lion dances. Now, lion dances, what that is a group of people who hold this massive giant, puppet in the shape of a long lion, or kind of like a lion dragon kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And they dance with drums really loud. And the reason for that noise, the reason for that is to mix negative energy and to kind of, break apart any negative energy. Loud noises does that. And so they're all over the country. There are sounds of these drums. They travel in neighborhoods, stop in people's houses, and they do little tricks like, they'll break apart a cabbage or break apart an orange and offer the orange to the family. And of course, you always give them money because, again, the exchange of money, it's always about an exchange, energy exchange. So the exchange of money, you give money, you gain prosperity because, you're giving and you're receiving. So everywhere there'll be firecrackers, there'll be lion dances, huge drums. It's almost, and Singapore is a small country. So if you think about a small island country, full of this festivity, full of noise, and it's really the whole nation is celebrating. And it's the same when you're in China, in the bigger cities or the smaller cities, it doesn't matter, Beijing, Shanghai, secondary and third tier cities, it's noisy, it's fantastic. Everyone's celebrating, that everyone's celebrating. So it's wonderful.
So that just sounds so delightful to have and wholesome, if you will, being family centered, and then about the exchanging of the energy of money versus and I'm sure there's consumerism in the holiday as well, just like there is with any other holiday, right? A whole economy for that. But I would love to experience that somewhere at some point in time. So put that on my travel list.
Actually, when we think of, the sacred journeys, shaman in the city that we wanted to do, right, that we're planning, I think that's such a brilliant idea to kind of do a tour of, Asia during Chinese New Year. So not just doing China, but even stopping in Singapore and Vietnam during the week to see how different this, or how similar the celebrations are. And yes, there is consumer, a lot of buying as well, because people change out, they change out their curtains in their house.
That's what I was wondering. So like the decorative theme from this year to last year, you changed the furniture placement, the color, everything, right?
Yeah, a lot of people get feng shui masters into their house to say, okay, let's just make sure the feng shui of the house, meets with the new, because every new year, feng shui has something called flying stars, kind of like, darts and arrows pointed in different directions of the house. So how do you counter that negative energy? So a lot of people get feng shui masters into their home and say, okay, what do we need to change around? What are color themes of the family, so that everything continues to flow with that chi energy. So so people change out curtains, they change out, decorative pieces. Some people even change out proper furniture pieces. If the feng shui master says, oh, you need to have a red living room this year, oh, let's get red rosewood, or something or the other. So a lot of people do that. Then you've got another faction of people who are not into the consumerism aspect of things, but they are into the traditions and cultures of things. So they still celebrate, they still honor, everything that they have to honor, but not necessarily the consumerism aspect of things.
So let me ask you this, can we get a trip together by next year's New Year's? Because is that too soon? Does it need to be 2 years?
I think it's 2025 would be a really good year, because
in all honesty, the chitter chatter in the room.
Yeah,
and people who I could talk with directly, we could probably have at least 10 people to come.
That would be amazing if we could. 10 to 15 people would be perfect, right?
Okay. Shaman in the City 2025 with the Viberarian in Asia for New Year.
Let's do it.
Year.
And because I've been thinking of Bali a lot and the energy of Bali. So it'd be so great to end a journey like that in a place like Bali, which is so sacred, and to do a releasing ritual within the waters of Bali.
So is this just like a 14-day thing, Alka?
Yeah.
It feels like it's 14 because you got the New Year's in the middle of it.
Yep.
And then the experience is integrating. And as you're saying,
okay,
absolutely. I can see people. I can see my cousin, hey cousin, and in Nebraska. I've already seen 3 or 4 people, and I know some other people that were like, yes, oh my God, if we're going, we're going. So I love how things just kind of flowed, right, in terms of the opportunities that present themselves.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And back to quickly the decorating thing. So what would be some water rabbit year-ish things to bring into your home? Is there anything general?
So what I like to do is I like to bring in the animal of the year and welcome them into the house. So the past 2 years I found these really cute soft toys of the year of the ox and the year of the tiger. I'm kind of looking for a bunny this year. I haven't found one that I really like, but I like to bring in the animal, welcome them, welcome their energy. I do feng shui consultation, because when you talk about someone's house, you need to just kind of, figure out what zodiac they are and where they lie with the rabbit and how well they get along with the rabbit, and where all of those flying stars come in, and how you place your house. Now, I don't take too much credence in the flying stars, because if that's the case, I had to change my house every year, and I can't do that. So I put kind of protections in the form of crystals in the different corners of the house, so that that then protects my space. So with the water rabbit, if you are a water sign, I would not bring in a blue rabbit, for example. I'd bring in a red rabbit, just so that you have the balance of water and the fire element, or a wood rabbit and the wood element. If you're not a water, let's say you're a fire sign, in terms of zodiac, then I would bring in the water rabbit, because what happens is then that fire energy, comes down with the water rabbit. And examples of water are, a rabbit that's in a blue stone or blue colored, or made out of cloth that's white and blue. Red would be same thing as a stone, or a cloth rabbit. So look out for that. Find out what those of you who are on this watching this, find out which zodiac you were born in by the year and what element it is. So I'm an ox. I'm a wood ox. So for wood ox, I would bring in a water rabbit, but I would bring in an element of fire as well, because the thing with wood is wood can rot in water. So I can get over emotional in water, being a wood ox. So I need a little bit of fire to kind of douse, to dry me out a little bit out of the rotting.
Oh, I'm a 1971. That's a pig, but
We'll
I
have
don't know what.
You may, yeah.
What element, right?
Element, yeah. We'll have to check. I know the years, so I know what animals or what year, but because the elements change. Yeah. So I have to check. What you are. So
I'm definitely gonna have to check that. That's interesting. And then the whole, rising sign versus moon sign. Like if you're going to be up in your feelings, but you're talking about like your Chinese zodiac sign, not
correct.
your Western astrology.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're complex. We're such complex creatures, right? We've got the Western element, and then you've got the numerological element, then you've got the zodiac. But that's what makes, we're the same, yet we're unique, right?
Yeah, well,
and it's just ways to, honestly, these are just ways to understand ourselves. If you get too much into it, what's going to happen is, and you're going to get too much into superstition. You're going to get too much into, oh yeah, I did this because I'm this. No, it's really understanding elements of yourself so that you can learn better. You can understand better, know your learning style, know the style of how you accept information and give information. That's why we have all this information. It's really to learn about us and to learn a little bit. Yeah.
There's a lot of complex systems that go into us, and the physical, and definitely in the energetic as well. That's why I love things like, human design.
Yes.
It's just another way of like looking at how we're operating versus astrology, depending on if you're Vedic or, Western, versus lunar cycle things such as the Mayans and the Asian, so it gives me plenty to talk and think about and put my mind to,
Absolutely.
I've definitely been short-circuited though with that predictive at a phase of life, right? And I think that when you first learn systemic things, we do tend to be very conforming. But over time, then we learn to throw the recipe book away, because now we just know how to work with the ingredients of our elemental personality, or astrological personality.
Exactly.
Because Mercury retrograde would have me, like, I'm not turning on my computer for 3 weeks. But, and luckily now I'm like, oh, it's just nuances.
It's nuances, and it's awareness. So, just be patient then, right? Just be patient. It's again how we react. Jill did some digging, and she says that it's a metal. So you're a metal pig, which means, the golden pig. Wow, this is a good prosperous, very, very prosperous sign. So if it's a water year, I'd suggest if you are bringing a rabbit into your house that it's a metal rabbit, because water can rust metal. So then again, you have to be aware of an aspect of things may halt for you and not it'll be rusted, so you won't be able to move so much until you kind of oil that. But again, Joelle, it's about awareness. You can't, we can't lay all our belief and importance on this and say, oh my God, I'm going to rust this year. No,
yeah, right,
it's okay, at the back of my mind, I have an awareness of that possibility. So because I have an awareness of that possibility, I'm going to try to do things a little differently, or, I'm going to adjust the way I react to things. That's really why we have this information, so that we react, in a different way, and so that we make things better for ourselves. Again, I can't emphasize the fact that the year of the rabbit and the 7-year is all about introspection and connection with your intuition. I cannot emphasize that enough. Trust your intuition, especially this year, because your intuition is spot on.
And that's the thing that we also notice, that when you see rabbits, it's usually in the stillest part of the dusk or the dawn. It's quiet.
Yeah.
You barely notice them because they're not making any noise and they're still. So part of that, being able to hear the inner intuition, is about unplugging from the mental chatter, from the environmental chatter, and giving space for that observation to even happen.
Exactly. Observation. Exactly. I mean, you can't, there's going to be chatter outside. There's going to be noise pollution. There's going to be distractions. Observe, watch, observe, but be okay about walking away from it or just going about your thing. Why were you there in the first place? Just go about your thing. Think of the rabbit. Why was the rabbit there? Smelt something. It just then goes on about its thing. It stops, looks around, goes about its thing.
I was thinking just then, I had a picture of like Bugs Bunny stopping and trying to like get the big juicy carrot that's below the surface, and the cartoon kind of goes there and sees like something, trying to hold it from him getting it, right? But it's almost like digging beneath the surface.
Yeah,
that's
a great memory and thought. Yeah, and great analogy. Digging to the surface. Absolutely. And the resilience of, I want that carrot. I've come here for that carrot. My purpose is the carrot, and I'm going to get the carrot.
Right. But wait till it's ripe, right? Don't get it while it's early, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very interesting. So do you have any thoughts as to things that might come through like the global stage, or any particular trends that you would anticipate maybe happening?
So, like I'd mentioned, a lot of knowledge coming our way. So there's going to be a lot of information that also lends to a lot of, I don't want to say, but I'll say this word, but know that the word is harsher than what I mean, but a lot of deceitful information. So lies, untruths. So be aware of this. Be discerning with what you listen to, with information that comes to you, because we will be bombarded with information this year. We will be bombarded with information whether we want to or not. Everyone's going to have their view and their opinion on that information. Please be discerning. Please be still in understanding what is right information, what's the wrong information, what's the truth, and what's a lie. Okay? There are a lot of people who are going to come out of the spiritual closet. And again, some may come out of fear, that skittish nature. And coming out of fear means, again, they're going to try and sell information. So be discerning again. What is right information? Who's acting in integrity and who's not acting in integrity? So these are going to be some of the major themes for this year.
Okay. I can see that, there's a narrative for everybody.
Yes.
There's something crafted to draw your awareness to it. it's always available. But when you just see it from that point, then you're in a control position as to whether you really wish to engage.
Yeah.
With the work that I do, I have to be tied into the mainstream news reporting version of
Yeah.
reality, right?
Yes.
So it's like I have to know, though, that what I'm interacting with is different and for a specific purpose, and do my own hygiene and protocols when I come out of that experience to reset my brain and to not begin to buy into the longer soap opera type narrative. Because
Yes.
it's like reading cliffhangers and stories, and you can become engaged in a 3D timeline that you just aren't even that interested in, just because you've exposed yourself to it enough.
Exactly. Focus on your, always center and balance and focus to your heart center, right? The truth of who you are, the integrity, the authenticity of who you are. When you're sitting across from someone, you're not just listening to their words. Focus on their energy too. Think as intuitive beings, immediately your gut is going to tell you if what the words coming out of this person's mouth, where is it coming from? And I'm not saying, then stand there and call them out. They know what they're doing. They know. It's not for us to call them out. It's for us to know and understand. And that's what this year is about. That knowledge, that understanding, and that knowledge that it's not just about listening to someone's words. It's about feeling their energy. It's about feeling them. It's about observing their body language and checking in with your truth and your understanding on where you stand with that person. So as a result, what's going to happen as well is relationships may break down, friendships may break down because of this. But know and understand that if someone is not meant to be in your life, they're going to walk away. Or
it should be a little easier than the volatile tiger year separations, right?
Yeah. Oh, those separations were nasty. I think that, last year was a time of arguments, fights, drama. It's not going to happen in a dramatic style this year. It's actually going to happen in a really almost peaceful style.
Mm-hmm. I'm laughing because I see Shannon says she had to look it up. She's a water ox sitting in a bathtub right now. And I think that she's a Scorpio sun.
Oh, wow. Okay,
talk about
all around.
I know. But that's like so much of like the energy though, like, okay, sitting in your emotions, sitting in the waters. An ox is solid, it doesn't move fast.
No.
But it'll move when it's time, you know what I'm saying? But it's like the energy of just sitting in your feelings and being patient.
Exactly. just being, just being.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. So the numerology of the 7, the water rabbit here. Oh, crystals. So like what crystals would be supportive for us to be in or is that also subjective?
I have a list, and be ready for this. I mean, there are the crystal themes for the year are Larima, turquoise, Larima, turquoise, sunstone, citrine, kunzite, and kyanite.
Okay, I've got check.
Yeah,
okay,
it's not kyanite. Anything too complicated. These are the themes. Why? Because Larima really keeps us in that flow. Larima is the ultimate because it will keep us, exactly, I saw that. It'll keep us in that flow of the gentleness of the rabbit, the emotions of the water. It's the ultimate, at least for me, the ultimate calming stone, right? Turquoise is the stone of the higher heart. This is the year of the higher heart. This is the year of the heart. And so turquoise protects the higher heart, but also encourages the higher heart to speak.
Hold on, so, I gotta look. I just gotta look here because if there's no better time than the present, I have not unwrapped my Crystal Matchmakers, latest. Okay, this is it.
Oh, you look at that, Larry. Oh, that piece of Larry is beautiful.
Trying to see if I can get it without the.
So just for everyone, I have pet
Yeah.
names for all the crystals. So Larimar is called Larry. Oh, how beautiful. Look at, yeah, it's like
I have not
they're
opened
islands.
this. Yes. I have not opened this since coming to Alka and Mark's crystals and Kava holiday situation. I was waiting to unwrap it, but so that's
Gorgeous.
perfect, right?
Oh,
Perfect then,
beautiful.
energy to bring in for the new year. Okay. Yes, Larimar is also known as Dolphin Stone,
That is correct.
Atlantis Stone. It only comes out of the Dominican Republic. It's the
Yes, that is correct.
mine where it will be found, and it's due to the copper deposits that were in the water table there.
That's
Right?
right. Yep,
So,
absolutely. Oh, I love that.
okay, wonderful. So, well,
Yay.
this is perfect. My nephew, my second cousin Evan's birthstone is citrine. Larimar, you said kunzite and kyanite.
Turquoise.
Yes, here, let me type the names as you say them. They're saying, can you
Okay,
put the names
so
in chat?
we'll go down the list. Larimar,
Okay. Larimar.
turquoise,
Sunstone.
sunstone, citrine, kunzite, and kyanite.
And kyanite. All right, I'm trying to see.
Yep, you got it all. Kyanite. Yep, absolutely right. That's kyanite.
This is kyanite, which has.
So kyanite is the stone of the throat chakra.
Yeah.
I call it the speaker of truth. So whatever happens is it brings out the truth of your truth out of your throat into your mouth and outward. So it's definitely the stone that we should all be wearing this year.
Okay, and so kyanite actually is one of those that has, like, in its raw form, striations.
Yeah.
That you can see running across it. I don't know if you can see the blue very good from it. But okay, and so citrine, I don't have my citrine handy, but I do have one. These are great because the crystals that she named off, these are like normal budget crystals. Well, the Larimars and the turquoise are not necessarily. The true turquoise, right, is a little more expensive.
Yeah, this baby.
Yeah.
He's Leopold.
Okay. Meaning that's his name.
That's his name. That's his name.
Leopold.
He's a Native American Zuni bear, and he's got a lot of copper in him. Copper fuses magic. Turquoise is the stone of the higher heart. So the higher heart is the connection between the heart and the throat. And that needs a lot of care and attention this year. So you notice most of the crystals, kyanite, larimar, are blue. And those are throat chakra stones, right? The blue chakra. And then the green is the connection. And the pink is kunzite, which is your heart chakra taking care. It's the ultimate self-care.
Is
so
the pink one kind of goldy pink?
No, it's actually baby pink, light pink.
Baby pink, okay.
Very light pink. Sometimes it's the good pieces are lilac. They're almost lilac in color, but they range from a deep lilac to a lavender, to a pink, to a white, and then there's yellow kunzite as well. And there's green kunzite as well, that's known as hiddenite. But this year, it's with the pink lavender or, lilac kunzite.
Okay, I'm about to go ahead and share my screen real quick because I am a visual person. Let's pull it up here real quick. Okay.
Yeah, that's the color. That's the color this year, the pink, the lilac.
Okay, yeah, so those are pretty.
Yeah, I'm wearing my kunzite, and you can see it's slightly pink, but it's almost clear. I have not taken this off this year.
Okay. And let's see, what else did you say? I think that was all of them, right?
And you can also, I mean, you can wear Larimar on a bracelet. This is one I made myself. So I got the beads and then I just strung it myself really simply.
Oh, sorry, I'm like trying to get myself back minimized. There
No
we go.
worries. And that's, so kunzite can come in
Okay.
almost a clear color like this as well. This is kunzite, yeah.
Okay. Okay, we've got some people talking about they have kyanite, and then heading up to Next Millennium, which is an awesome metaphysical store in Omaha, Nebraska. I love going there with my cousin when I'm in town. And yes, my cousin works with the tribes as well.
Oh, wow.
Nebraska.
Fantastic.
So being able to find some artful work and craft of turquoise, I'm sure will be within her reach. So,
absolutely.
Okay, so we've got our crystals. Any particular plant allies or tea allies, or herbal? Is it a rosemary year? Is it,
Actually, it's funny you mentioned rosemary because I've been listening to a lot of benefits of rosemary. But when you take a look at herbs, here are the 3 chakras to take care of specifically, right? Solar plexus, heart, and throat. So if you think about yellow, pink, green, and blue. So if you're thinking, yellow, solar plexus, chamomile kind of calms down the solar plexus. Rosemary is really good for the heart. Cardamom is also really good for your digestive system. So be aware of your digestive system, your heart, your chest, your throat. These are the areas to be aware of. And so herbs that, nourish those energy centers would be the best for this year.
Okay. This is so well-rounded. I look forward to this every year. Now, people who are interested in, don't you have like a newsletter or something where people can get things like this on a monthly basis?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, so we're part of a group called the Divine Path, and every month, a newsletter is produced. So if you'd like to be on the subscribers list, just send me your email addresses and we'll add you to the subscription list. We talk about herbs, we talk about making teas, tinctures. You can ask questions, we'll post answers. I do a crystal section, but this next newsletter is going to be about the rabbit. The January's newsletter, we were talking about how it's the number 7 year. So yeah, and whatever's trending in terms of our space, the metaphysical, the new age, the healers, shamanic practices, whatever's trending. So yeah, so we do that. I do New Year Feng Shui consultations. So what we do is we do your full chart, and then I give you kind of directions and practical information on how to place crystals or how to place furniture or just how to organize your house to benefit you the most for the year. And then of course we have the crystal matchmaker. So if you can't find a crystal anywhere out there in the brick and mortar world, you can come online to our Etsy store and see what we have for you.
Or you can go shopping at their private events and get all of your heart's desires met. I haven't opened the Roto card is in this batch too. So I've been waiting to try to capture, it on camera. So we did that this evening. Do you have any I hope we can get a crystal matchmaker night, a date night in soon. But are you teaching any classes like in the immediate term?
Well, I have so I put up a tentative calendar that I'll publish in a little bit for classes starting March into April, into the summer. I have a children's summer program, so I have a three class children's crystal program. I got to test it on my nephews, and it was fantastic. I had a 6-year-old, two 11-year-olds in the class, and they did not fidget. They did not get distracted. They had amazing questions that I don't get in my regular classes. So it was really fantastic little test class that I did. So that went really well. So I'm writing up the children's class, but look out for information starting March. I also have an advanced crystal class coming out this year, and I'm playing around with another developing your intuition class this year as well.
Okay. I love it. I love it. I'm so excited to have these conversations like this with you. I am doing a series every Wednesday on this channel, In the Cards with the Viberarian. And I know, Alka, that you will join me one Wednesday as a collector of cards, and we talk about one of your favorites and kind of share experiences in that as well. So I'll be reaching out to get you on the schedule. I think we're definitely already into March, so that will be perfectly aligned with, hopefully openings in your schedule as well.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds fantastic. That is so
I'm
exciting.
I'm gonna have to see where the bunny rabbit comes in the energy. I'm super excited because I generally will begin to receive nods from spirit then of now you know enough, you can bring it home, and I'll be somewhere and there'll be a candle with a bunny or something, so
Yeah.
I know that it'll come in.
Everyone, your intuition does just say, I welcome you, Bunny, into the house, and I guarantee you, each and every one of you, Bunny's going to come up in some way or the other for you.
Jill is wondering if it was in person.
Both, Jill.
Both?
I'm going to announce classes in person and online as well, because I have several people who are not here in Atlanta.
Yeah, my little cousin Evan that we talked about, he's super awake, sensitive, young person, processes, I'm sure, his clairs, and he's good with crystals and things like that. So for him to be able to distantly join will be great. So it's a year for learning, right? It's a year for passing on of information. So this is perfect. Thank you to everybody who has joined in the chat for being here. I love it. This kind of conversations I love having other people to have these kind of conversations with instead of just talking to myself all the time. So, and Alka, I appreciate you. I know that we are, going to be talking about more things, and you always spur activations in me, and I love it because then for 3 or 4 days after we connect, I'm getting downloads, and
I love it. If I can almost end on this note, that the year of this rabbit is about creativity, it's about fertility, so it's about birthing those ideas in a patient way. So if you've had that creative, stirring, or you've wanted to birth something, or you've wanted to create something, this is the year to do it. But be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, take care of yourself. That's ultimate. And trust your intuition. I cannot say this enough. Trust your own guidance and intuition.
All right. I receive all of those wise words, and have a wonderful New Year's Eve, Saturday, and Lunar New Year Day with your family, and know that I would send you oranges virtually.
Thank you. Kung hei fa choi. Kung si fa choi. That's Happy New Year.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you next time.